Hey everybody, good afternoon. This is going to be my last Q&A Wednesday based on the homeschooling subject. The question that I had this time is, what was the easiest thing about homeschooling and what's the hardest thing about homeschooling? So I'm going to start with the hardest things about homeschooling. The hardest thing about homeschooling is the pressure. Not only internally, you have this weight on your shoulders that you are responsible for your child's education and their academic achievements in life. Then on the outside, the exterior pressure from all of those who are watching you to see if you can actually really do it or not. So that is number one. The second hardest thing is learning to educate your child does not only restrict you to academics. What I mean by that is that my sole purpose of homeschooling my children isn't just to educate them academically. I totally feel there are plenty of public schools, STEM schools, private schools who probably can do the job a lot better than me academically. However, God has given me the insight as their mother to raise them up in the way that they should go. And so my main focus, or my first focus, is always character, is always building them up and always encouraging them to become who God has created them to be. And so that's the first part of homeschooling, is not just shaping their academic, but shaping their whole personality, their whole being, their whole person. And I had to adjust to just ticking the boxes to seeing the bigger eternal picture. And then that also means that I had to teach myself to stop and teach life skills. So if we're like heading out the door and we're heading to a co-op or a field trip or whatever, and we have a breakdown at the door, we need to address that root issue and build that character and work on that character before we head out the door and pile more on top of that. And so that was something that I had to become flexible in. I had to become able to see the bigger picture. I had to become able to see what my child really needs versus then just trying to get all of our boxes ticked for the day. And then another thing is finding time for myself. And of course, my kids are with me 24/7, except for when I go to the grocery store. And so I do take some time and go to a coffee shop and stuff. I do try to schedule fun in my life. And that's part of it, is like you have to schedule fun time. You have to schedule downtime or it will never get done. If you don't schedule it, it won't happen. So if you take the time to do that, if you allow yourself to do that, then you can do it. Nothing about homeschooling. Now we're going to the other side, the easy part. Nothing about homeschooling is easy, but there are perks. One of the perks is that I'm not committed to restricting my time frame. So homeschooling is not restricted to a couple of hours or multiple hours during the day. It's a lifestyle for us. So we are educating at the table and on the go. Any opportunity that we have, we educate our children. We try to cultivate curiosity in them. And so we have that freedom. That's a perk for us, to freedom to teach them in all things. I don't have to wrestle my children to get out of bed in the morning and get on the bus. That is a perk. Unfortunately, I don't have those children who like to sleep in. They like to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning every single morning. And so I probably wouldn't have to wrestle them out of bed if we did go to public school, but I don't have to try to rush them through breakfast and rush them to get dressed and rush them here and rush them there. So that is a perk. I get to know my kids that is the hugest perk. There are so many parents out there who never see their kids because they go to school and they go to activities and they don't even have family dinners. So I understand that blessing that we have by choosing homeschool. We get to see our kids, we get to experience who they are, we get to watch them grow, and we get to see them change into these wonderful human beings in between the struggling and the trials with raising them up into those wonderful human beings. And so that is the hugest thing for us, is that we get to see our children and watch them grow and get to know them. We get to have more family time and opportunities to explore the world around us. We get to be together. My husband gets done with work at 3, and we are together as a family from that time on to bedtime. And he works 4 days a week, and so we have a 3-day weekend. And so we get to go hiking, and we get to go exploring, and we get to go to the science museum and art museums and the zoo, and we get to do all these things during the times when they aren't busy, which is really a perk. And we get to take opportunities like taking a week and going on a family vacation and exploring a city and exploring the history of the city and exploring anything that we really want to do as a family. And we tend to be really intentional about all of those things that we do, always giving our children opportunity to grow and learn. The last thing I would say is the perk is it's less expensive than public schooling or sending my kids out of our home. We do not have to go and drop a bunch of money at the beginning of the school year to buy a whole new set of clothes for each child. We have 6 children. Do you imagine how much that would cost? That would be crazy. So we don't have to go and drop all that money and just to buy them new clothes or shoes or whatever. We just get them on the run. We get them when we need them. And we don't need to drop a bunch of money on school supplies too. And we get to have the opportunity to buy them as we go. And we homeschool all year round, so we just pick up what we need when we need it. And so we end up saving more money than we would in other situations. But that's our what's the hardest and what's the easiest or perks of our list. It's been really fun talking with you guys and sharing our thoughts with you guys. I hope it's been encouraging. And if you want, you can follow us on the Pollard Tribe blogspot. I will put the link below. But this is the last one for the Homeschool Q&A Wednesdays. I don't know what's coming in the future. We shall see. Have a good week.